Good day, and thank you for the opportunity to present on our experience developing and implementing an online plagiarism course for undergraduate students. So we all know that plagiarism is becoming a problem, particularly at tertiary institutions, and we find that there hasn't been a standardized approach or any formal teaching of plagiarism. So it's often taught ad hoc and in a generalized manner, and very often dependent on the person or the academic that is addressing it. So Prof. Blewett, Prof. Irene Mackraj, who is the previous academic leader of teaching and learning at the School of Laboratory Medicine and Medical Sciences, and myself got together and decided that we would like to put something together that offers students some good information about plagiarism and teaches them how to avoid committing plagiarism. So the aim of this presentation then is to present to you the course that we put together, and then what were the students' knowledge and attitudes towards plagiarism, why students plagiarized, and we did look at their experience using this new plagiarism course, but that won't be presented today. So this is going to be presented using a mixed methods approach. At the beginning of this course, there was an anonymous survey that looked at the students' practice of plagiarism. And then we looked at their knowledge and attitudes towards plagiarism. And there were also open-ended questions asking students why they thought students plagiarized. This course was developed using Prof. Blewett's activated connected teaching model. And I'm not going to go into any detail about that. He's one of our keynote speakers, and he's written a textbook about this. And I think we're all aware about this model. Okay, so the course was run through the university e-learning platform, and it had 7 different modules. It started with a section introducing students to the concept of learning online and what is expected of them. Thereafter, the different, what plagiarism is and the different types of plagiarism. They were also introduced to understanding how to reference the various plagiarism checkers, including Turnitin as well as Grammarly. And thereafter, they had a quiz to do. And after having completed all the various sections, they then had to sign a declaration saying that they would not plagiarize. Now, at the beginning of each of these sections, the student was informed as to how long it would take them on average to complete this module or this course and the different activities that would be involved. So it was very engaging in that we had students, they had to read carefully in order to collect stash items and encouraged focus and careful reading. There were videos that also included questions, there were discussion forums and quizzes. So I use the term course in this presentation, but this was actually run as a workshop because we know at university level course, the word course has a specific connotation and it implies that it's credit bearing or students need to pay for it. So this was not credit bearing and students did not have to pay to access this workshop. So we first piloted this understanding plagiarism course in the second semester of 2019 amongst the Bachelor of Medical Science honors students and the Bachelor of Commerce honors students. And this was largely just based on where Prof. Blewett and myself teach and the students that we had easy access to. At that point, only 33 students completed this course. We did show an improvement in knowledge, but the main criticism at the time was that students felt that the timing of the course was poor because a lot of them were involved with their research projects, and this was eating into that time. So in 2020, we then offered this course at the beginning of the year after having made some minor tweaks to it. So 148 students accessed the course and 95 students completed both surveys, so at the beginning and at the end of the course. So the mean age of our students was 21.9 years, and 91% reported that they had not had any formal teaching of plagiarism previously. And only 31% had indicated that they had read the UKZN plagiarism policy. In terms of their knowledge, so we can see a large proportion of students knew that presenting someone else's work as their own in writing was plagiarism. However, only 86% knew that presenting someone else's work as their own orally was plagiarism, and this increased to 94% by the end of the course. Again, with submitting work that they had previously submitted elsewhere, only 59% considered that to be plagiarism, and this increased to 89% at the end of the course. I think if you look at the last row here, you can see that their knowledge did increase, because at the beginning of the course, only 67% of students felt that they had sufficient knowledge that would allow them not to plagiarize. And this increased to 93% by the end of the course. In terms of students' attitude, so 83% of students agreed that students who plagiarize should be disciplined, and 21% felt that short deadlines contributed to plagiarism. And we'll touch a bit on that when we look at the students' reasons for plagiarizing. 68% felt guilty if they copied from a friend, the textbook, or the internet. In terms of the practice of plagiarism, just over 80% of students reported to have previously paraphrased from a textbook without referencing, and again, over 80% reported to have paraphrased from a website without referencing. So why did students plagiarize? So we got a lot of qualitative data from this part of the survey, and we were able to categorize their reasons into intentional plagiarism and unintentional plagiarism. And this is the way the literature reports it as well. So in terms of intentional plagiarism, one of the main reasons that came about was students wanting to get good grades. And another a theme that came about was their lack of interest or laziness. And students felt that it was easier to get to do well if they just copied someone or copied from somewhere. In terms of unintentional plagiarism, students reported that they didn't know that they were plagiarizing, or they didn't know how to paraphrase something so that it wasn't plagiarizing. And so them committing plagiarism was an unintentional act. So we thought that this was a successful intervention, and there was a 27% increase in students' knowledge on plagiarism after completing this course. More than 80% reported to have previously plagiarized from the textbook or internet. While this sounds quite high at an undergraduate level, this is possibly the norm. A survey at the University of Pretoria also reported similar findings, as well as in the USA. It's often at postgraduate level where this figure drops down quite significantly. So our limitations is the response rate. We did have quite a few students who didn't respond. This was only piloted amongst fourth-year students, and that we know that there's a complex interplay of numerous factors that lead to plagiarism, and that we didn't assess all those factors. So what are the implications? I think we showed that students lack an understanding of the various facets of plagiarism, and an innovative online course can improve their knowledge and their skills. We are in the process of going through the necessary processes to roll out this to other colleges and all other undergraduate students. Some of the content is now available in isiZulu. And in terms of future research, we think that it would be nice to see whether there's a decrease in the incidence of plagiarism at UKZN, and also look at offering this to postgraduate students. I'd like to acknowledge Professor Danpat for his support throughout this process, and this project was made possible through a UCDP grant. Thank you.